He's hailed as a peaceful monk, but to China, he's the face of rebellion. The Dalai Lama, holy man or hidden weapon. From a dusty Tibetan village to global stages, from temples to tense border standoffs, his journey isn't just spiritual, it's strategic. India gave him shelter, China declared him a separatist, the West gave him awards. But here's the million-dollar question. What happens when the Dalai Lama is gone? Because whoever controls his legacy may control the Himalayas. Stay till the end to understand the real reason behind China's fear and India's silence. It's 1935. In the Amdo region of northeastern Tibet, a peasant child named Lamo Thondup is born. 2 years later, Tibetan monks, guided by visions and ancient signs, identify him as the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama. At just 4, he's whisked away to Lhasa. By 15, he's declared Tibet's spiritual and political head. But just as he prepares to lead, Mao Zedong has other plans. China wants Tibet, not for its religion, but for its strategic geography. The clouds of invasion gather. 1950. China invades Tibet under the banner of peaceful liberation. The Dalai Lama, just a teenager, tries diplomacy. Under pressure, Tibet signs a 17-point agreement that seals its fate. Chinese troops flood Lhasa, protests erupt. Tibet's identity is being erased. The young monk, caught between non-violence and political survival, continues to preach peace, but begins to see the cage tightening. 1959. A massive uprising breaks out in Lhasa. Thousands die. The Dalai Lama, fearing for his life, escapes. Disguised as a soldier, he crosses the Himalayas into India after a harrowing 15-day journey. Prime Minister Nehru grants him asylum. The Chinese call it interference. A diplomatic chill sets in. 3 years later, India and China go to war. And while bullets fly at the border, a monk settles in Dharamshala. India doesn't say it out loud, but the message is clear. Tibet is lost, but the soul of Tibet will live here. In exile, the Dalai Lama becomes a global sensation. Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. Visits to the US Congress, talks with presidents, popes and celebrities. The world loves him, but China, they brand him a splittist, a wolf in monk's robes. For India, he's a double-edged sword, soft power diplomacy with the West, and a red rag to the Chinese bull. Quick thought for you. Is the Dalai Lama a true peace icon or a pawn in a long-running Cold War between India and China? Let us know in the comments. We're reading them all. Here's the scariest part of this saga. It's not the past, it's the future. The Dalai Lama is 89. He has hinted that he might not reincarnate, or that the next Dalai Lama will be born outside China, maybe even in India. China? They have other plans. They've already installed their own Panchen Lama. They claim only they can approve the next Dalai Lama using something called the Golden Urn system. That's right, a 300-year-old lottery method. 2 Dalai Lamas, 2 claims to Tibetan leadership, a divided Buddhist world, and a geopolitical crisis in the making. India plays it cool. No official talks, no statements, but make no mistake, the presence of the Dalai Lama in India is a constant thorn for China. India allows Tibetan exiles to operate in Himachal. It hosts the Tibetan government in exile. Yet during high-level talks with China, it often asks the Dalai Lama to lie low. It's a game of balance, a chess move hidden behind a prayer bead. But with the monk aging, India's window of influence is shrinking. Let's zoom in on Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh, the site of Chinese aggression in 2022 and 2023. Why this town? Because the 6th Dalai Lama was born here. China believes Tawang is part of southern Tibet. By controlling Tawang, China could legitimize its choice of the next Dalai Lama. It's not just territory, it's theology. Control Tawang, control reincarnation, control loyalty. Now do you understand why those border standoffs matter so much? This isn't just India versus China anymore. The United States passed the Tibet Policy and Support Act, saying only the Tibetan people can choose their next leader. China slammed it. Europe, silent. Russia, siding with Beijing. India finds itself alone, defending Tibetan autonomy quietly while avoiding open confrontation. But here's the strategic twist. The West can tweet support. India has to host it. That's a different battlefield. So here we are, the 14th Dalai Lama, old, wise, smiling, but his death could ignite one of the biggest religious political crises of our time. Will the next Dalai Lama live in India or be picked by the Communist Party? Whoever wins that battle may redraw the map of Asia. You now know the Dalai Lama isn't just a spiritual figure. He's the eye of a storm, where faith, power and history collide. A monk, a mystery, and maybe the most powerful political refugee of our time. If this made you think, hit like. Share it with someone who still thinks monks can't move nations. Subscribe for more untold stories of power, politics and people who shape the world.